Kamila Valieva will be reheard today by CAS arbitrators. In December 2021, the figure skater passed a positive doping test. This became known already during the 2022 Olympics in Beijing, where Valieva won the team event with the Russian national team. The awarding never took place. The hearings on Valieva's doping case took place in September. Then the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CS, decided to resume them on November 9 to 10 because of the need to prepare additional documentation. Kamila will be reheard by CAS arbitrators. This will happen today, after which she will go to the tournament in Kazan, the source told TASS. In Kazan, Valieva will compete in the fourth stage of the Russian Grand Prix of Figure Skating Series. Tutberidze will accompany Valieva at the Russian Grand Prix stage in Kazan. The coach did not come to the previous stages of the Russian Grand Prix this season, where skaters from Tutberidze's group also performed. Eteri Georgievna will be with Kamila in Kazan, the source told TASS. Tatiana Tarasova commented on the words of the head of USADA about the case of Kamila Valieva. The CEO of the American Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, Travis Tegert, called the consideration of Valieva's doping case in the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CS, a travesty. The postponement of the Valieva hearing happened in September, so why didn't he write about it earlier? And what is he proposing? What is justice, to pardon Kamila or to bury her? But our athlete, who was undeservedly suspended from participation in competitions, has not competed in international tournaments for 2 years already. Doesn't it seem unfair to him? And as for medals, no one can get them, not only the Americans, but also us, said the honored coach of the USSR. Figure skater Margarita Bazylyuk performed a triple axel at the Russian Grand Prix in Kazan. In the short program, Bazylyuk jumped a cascade of triple axel, triple tulip, double axel and triple lutz. The athlete received 72.06 points for her routine. Victoria Morozova was second. Agata Petrova rounded out the top three. The performance of the triple axel by Margarita Bazylyuk can be seen on our website figureskating.org at the link in the description. Nikolai Gulyaev, president of the Russian Skating Union, said they, along with the Russian Figure Skating Federation, FFKKR, have withdrawn their appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CS, against the decision to suspend the athletes from international competitions under the auspices of the International Skating Union, ISU. We have withdrawn the lawsuit and will focus on the development of sports inside the country, quotes Gulyaev TASS. Recall, from the Russian side appealed the Federation of Figure Skating of Russia, the Russian Skating Union, 2014 Olympic champion in relay, world champion short track speed skater Semyon Ilistratov, bronze medalist of the Olympics 2022 speed skater Angelika Golikova, and silver medalists of the Olympics 2022 in pair skating Evgenia Tarasova and Vladimir Morozov. Ice dancers Elizaveta Shaniva and Pavel Drozd told what happened in the warm-up before the rhythm dance at the Russian Grand Prix in Krasnoyarsk when their partner's skate hit Annabelle Morozov's leg. Pavel, why are there more collisions in ice dancing? Because, probably, in dancing there are more unpredictable rearrangements, transitions themselves. I could be wrong, but in pairs skating you can roughly calculate the trajectory. There are some prescribed rules. If a couple has entered an element, if a couple is in an element or exiting an element, is in the moment, it basically has some priority, because you don't jump out of the element, you don't fly out of it. There was such etiquette back when I first came to dance in my beloved St. Petersburg. These moments were explained, who is skipping and following who. At 5 minutes you think about the rental, some adrenaline in you is off the charts, plus sometimes bright lighting, and I as a person with non-ideal vision has to adapt. During the warm-up sometimes you don't always go into the elements and try to turn your head 360 degrees. If, for example, we get into the warm-up, where there will be more familiar pairs, Lisa with Egor, Sasha with Vanya, it will be easier and clearer, because you know each other's trajectories. And so it happened, for example, we entered the Twizzles knowing the trajectory of Sasha and Vanya, and we followed each other. Elizaveta, Sasha and Vanya entered the twizzles, we followed, we realized that they would go a little to the right, and we would go a little to the left, and we would have a twist. Everything's fine, we got separated, and then the situation happened. We were coming out of the element, it seemed to be all over. It was adrenaline. Pavel, I think it's hard to say whether it could or could not have happened, who exactly could have been safe, it's a thankless task. Unfortunately, the incident has already happened, at least we hope that Annabelle has already healed. As far as we know, no vital ligaments or tendons were injured, but of course a cut is a cut, it's a shame that this happens. We do have a very injury-prone sport. We hope that she has already returned to training. Elizaveta Shaniva and Pavel Drozd also told how they apologized to Annabelle Morozov. The skaters also explained why they did not immediately apologize to their rivals. Pavel, we met already in the hotel. Initially you do not even understand what happened, as we all have already talked about adrenaline, about rearrangements, lights and so on. And when you already see that the doctors went to climb, Igor Yeremenko took her off the ice. In dancing there are 5 minutes of warm-up, you try not to get killed during this warm-up, unfortunately, it happens that injuries cannot be excluded. To get in front of the doctors would smell like a cheap show, they don't care about us anyway. Annabelle was good that she came out and they did the rhythm dance, but unfortunately they still withdrew from the free dance. Like civilized people we talked in the hotel, asked about her health. How deep the cut was, what exactly happened, we didn't know all the details. Elizabeth, because at the moment it seemed to me that it was so slight. You can even see that I did not shake once. I turned around, something happened, okay, let's move on, we don't have much time, we don't have much time. Plus there were other couples who were driving along our supposed pattern, we were following them. Turns out he carried her out in his arms, the doctors showed up, I think, okay, we need to go to the locker room, we were the third or fourth to ride. I took a bottle, went to the locker room, sat, we performed great, we liked it a lot, we were preparing for the free skate. We went out to the journalists, began to give interviews. But before the mix zone it seemed to us that it was nothing serious, it was all in the moment. I also like to look at the stands during the warm-up, to see who is sitting there, what kind of people are there. Paul, going back to that moment, you could see that Annabelle's knee was scraped, and you think, maybe it was scratched, but you don't know the seriousness of it. It wasn't until we started being questioned about the whole thing that we realized that it turns out there was actually a cut there. From ourselves, once again we want to wish you good health, we hope that Annabelle is doing better. Ilia Malinin's agent and ice show producer Ari Zakarian spoke about the evaluation of the quadruple axel, the only performer of which is the 18-year-old American figure skater. In the ISU Grand Prix series of the 2023-2024 season, Malinin has yet to perform the quadruple axel in competition, explaining his decision that ISU does not properly evaluate this jump, encouraging the skater to take risks. This is an element that will move figure skating into the stratosphere. It will be very beneficial for the future of our figure skating. But unfortunately, there are certain people who for some reason stubbornly want to push everything backwards. Although, when I asked Olympic champions Brian Boitano, Scott Hamilton, Yevgeny Plushenko, Viktor Petrenko what the value of the quadruple axel should be, I got numbers from 15 to 22 points, Zakarian said.